things that I like in the dog training world right now and things that I don't like in the dog training world right now.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
Things that I don't like in the dog training world right now. I don't want to keep naming dog trainer names. I'll only do that every once in a while, right?
Okay.
There's the dog trainer that will not be named right now. Just doing a board and train currently, right?
Okay.
Doing a board and train with a Cane Corso, I believe, right? There's a whole production leading up to the dog coming in on video. Oh my God, this dog's so aggressive and so fearful and this and that, blah, blah, whatever. Posting pictures in a bite suit, like, oh, going in, take the dog and blah, blah,
Okay.
Whatever. And takes the dog. Dog just looks like your typical freaking terrified dog, right?
Yeah.
Probably like guards the owners to some extent, lashes out, if you invade their space too much and everything, but probably not the kind of dog that's going to just out of nowhere come and rip your throat out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Same deal videos. I don't know how this is going to be such a long road for this dog, but it's going to be so hard. Blah, blah, right? Next day, he's got a toy. Like, we're trying to get this dog to play with this toy. Blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
Next day, got the long line. We're going for a long line walk with this dog. We're going to let the dog go sniff around and everything, blah, 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 right?
Okay.
Then next day, dog's loosening up a little bit, getting used to their environment, starts kind of chasing the toy a little bit. Fast forward, it's now been probably 12 days.
Yeah.
And the dog is very happy, which is good, right?
Yeah.
Happy dogs are fine, right?
Yeah.
We like happy dogs, obviously,
We
right?
do.
Dog's running, playing with the toy, right? Cool. The dog's finally gotten comfortable with you, right? Now all it is just all the hard work we had to do to get to this point. He's never played with a toy outside of home before. And in all of these videos, mind you, the dog is running and playing with a toy, but you know what else the dog is doing the entire time? Just running like a freaking psychopath around the yard, literally nonstop jumping all over this trainer, mouthing all over him and stuff like that. All sorts of behavioral issues that we don't want dogs to do.
Yeah.
Right? So let me ask you this. What did this trainer do for this dog? And was it that hard to do? First off, he did nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say nothing.
All he did was take the dog out and try to play with the dog every day.
Yeah.
Right? And listen, any dog, I don't care what dog you're working with, any dog that is really fearful is typically going to be pretty happy with their owner.
Yeah.
Right? The issue is not the dog having a good relationship with the owner, right?
Yeah.
The issue is because the dog has such a association of just, I have all these really aroused games and energies and I do whatever I want to do and we run and play, and then suddenly when something spooks me and I come into this or somebody new comes into this environment, I turn into a psychopath.
Yeah.
Right? So any dog, when you take them out of that environment and move, Jesus Christ. Any dog, when you take them out of that environment and then move them into a new environment, is immediately going to go into that scared, shut down state of mind where there's a high likelihood that they're going to bite you when they're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
Right? And any dog, if you just leave them be to their own devices and show them that you're not that scary, right, and that you're not pressuring them or anything like that, will loosen up and start to develop that same relationship with you that they have with the owner, right? But that's not the problem.
No.
Right? The problem is not that dog can't develop a relationship with somebody over the course of 12 days if that person does everything 100% perfectly and doesn't mess with the dog and stuff, right? The issue is that when the dog is scared, the dog does not know how to control themselves when they're scared.
Yeah.
Right? So what are you going to do? Are you going to send the dog home and are you going to tell the owner, wow, well, so I didn't really do any training with the dog. I just let the dog get really, really comfortable with me. So anytime you have somebody come over the house, just have them spend 12 days getting the dog really, really comfortable with them, and just make sure that they don't do anything bad, because if they do something bad, they're still going to get bit.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say...
I don't understand.
Yeah, so you made that situation with you okay, but what if, just a random... You take them to another environment, they're just going to be the same way they just were.
Yes, exactly. Right? That's kind of the point, right? Yeah. You're not putting in place the building blocks in order to communicate with the dog when they're in a fearful state of mind, which is the key. This is why we talked about this on the last podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about it 17,000 podcasts. Probably talked about it 40 podcast episodes so far. Right?
Yeah.
The key is not make the things not scary. Make everything not scary.
Yeah.
The key is teach the dog how to compose themselves when they are scared. Teach the dog to work through stress and overcome stress. Right?
Yeah.
The solution is not throwing the ball 9,000 times.
No.
That's it. So it's just such an issue because, like, yes, you could look at these videos and people that don't know anything about dog training, right? They could look at these videos and they could be like, wow, he's so scared in this video and he's so happy in this video, right? But here's the thing. He's so happy and uncontrollable in that video, that second video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so what I want to see is when he's in that state of mind, let's get this dog under control around some distractions and let's see how that looks.
Yeah.
And listen, this is kind of like my call out of like, I like seeing that. It's not that I don't want to see that, right?
Yeah.
But I want to also see that you could keep this dog under control when it really matters.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that if you have a guest come over your house that this dog does not know, that this dog is going to compose themselves and be under control and not be a nuisance or dangerous to anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't just show me you in the backyard throwing the freaking ball for the dog over and over again.
Yeah.
It's not that is one small piece of the solution, right?
Yeah.
Is building a relationship with that dog. It is not the end all be all.
No.
And frankly, I don't need to have that relationship with a dog in order to help them through these issues.
Yeah.
Because the dog is not my dog in the end of the day, right? The dog is the owner's dog, and the owners already have that part of the relationship established,
Exactly.
right? They need the other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? They need the hard stuff. They need the stuff that isn't all flashy on camera, right?
Yeah.
They need the stuff that's going to make them feel confident that when they're in these situations that used to terrify them before, that they're going to be able to keep their dog under control.
Yeah. It took me 12 days to make friends with your dog.
Yeah.
Like, what if what if they tried to correct that dog while he was playing and he was getting too rowdy? How do you think that dog was going to react then? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't see it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
we
true.
don't know.
yeah.
Right?
But I guarantee it's not great.
Well, I mean, if you're not teaching the dog to tolerate consequences and rebound back from them,
Yeah.
they're gonna the first time they need a big correction for something, probably shut down a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Which is normal. I mean, that's something that'll happen to a lot of dogs. But you need to start that process, right? Of like, hey,
Exactly.
like when you're all hyped up and stuff like this, I need to know I can get you to boop, do this,
Yep.
or boop, do that,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
And seeing this led me to a conversation that I was having with myself the other day. I was trying to look at new trainers, right? Or trainers in general, right?
Okay.
And I feel like you have you have four types of trainer here right now, right?
Okay.
This isn't on the fly. This is me processing these things I was thinking about the other day, but never actually said. This is me trying to say them right now, right?
Yeah.
So you got a couple of different kinds of trainers, right? You got the trainers that started out in the sport dog camp and never left the sport dog camp, right? These are the people that are just the end all be all. Competition obedience is everything. And if you don't have titles on your dog, then you're a fucking loser and you don't know anything about dog training. And I know everything, but actually I don't really train any pet dogs. I just compete with my dog and I live on a farm somewhere or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have that kind of trainer, right? Or let me give some exceptions to that. Or you have the ones that are just like, I'm a competitive dog trainer. I don't do pet dog training, and I'm very good at competing with dogs. And I'm not egotistical about that other avenue of dog training because that's not my area of expertise,
Yeah.
right? Which is fine. I got respect for that.
Yeah.
You got the other avenue of trainer, right? And I'll classify that competition area as that could be positive only, or that could be balanced, or that could be whatever, right? Then you have the avenue of I grew up learning old school dog training, you know, and Keeler method of dog training is all I know, and that's all I do, and I swear by it, and everything else is stupid, right?
Okay.
And that they never left that,
Yeah.
right? Then you have the people that originally started in the sport dog realm of dog training, right? Who learned a lot about the concepts and the ideas and how powerful some of those techniques are and all of that. And then they transitioned from that into learning more about some of the methods of teaching with compulsion and using e-collars and having a slightly firmer approach on things and understanding the limitations of sport dog training in a pet dog format from the owner standpoint and all that kind of stuff, right? And then you have the ones that started in the hard keeler kind of compulsion-based training system.
Yeah.
Did pet dogs primarily, and then longed for some of the more.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that most people nowadays are in one of those last two categories, right? So they started off in the sport dog world and they learned some limitations and they learned a fuckload about dog training and being scientifically accurate and all that kind of stuff, and then transitioned to the pet dog world, right? Yeah. And because of that, know a little bit about everything. They understand how to have really good timing with things. They understand how to teach complex behaviors, to explain things really well and stuff, but then realized they needed a little bit more in order to help those owners be successful.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we talked about with Amanda last time, because we both had that kind of background in the Michael Ellis kind of training and everything. And because of that, how much we learned from it, right? And then you have that other side, like I said, that started out in a compulsion-based system and then longed for something more. You look at this sport dog world, right? You look at, wow, look at that dog doing that focused heel. Look at how motivated and engaged that dog is over here. Look at how many different tricks and commands this dog knows.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 right? And you look at that and you're just like, and then you look at your training and it just is sometimes just kind of boring, you know? And it doesn't look all flashy and everything. Yeah. And a lot of those trainers, right? A lot of those trainers make a really, really, really grave mistake that I see. Right? They make this mistake of they slingshot too far in the opposite direction, right? They're like, we're going to learn all about this sport dog stuff, and then we're going to make all the mistakes that I made in the beginning, which is I try to train my clients like a sport dog trainer. Right?
Okay.
We transition from, because it doesn't look fancy. Oh, it should look fancy. It should look flashy. Every dog can be like that, super happy and gung-ho and toy motivated and this and that, blah, 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 right? And then you create these expectations of you're too soft on the dogs. Your training programs are too complex for owners to be able to really grasp effectively, right?
Okay.
You create these false expectations of what a trained dog should look like, right? And you don't get the reliability that you necessarily need, and you fall into this trap then where this trainer that I won't name is kind of at right now, where it's like he slingshotted from one extreme to the other because he used to be an e-collar trainer, right? He used to be a very heavy e-collar trainer.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I don't like this anymore. This is the way, right? This is the way. The Mandalorian,
this is the way.
Right? And because of that, he's stuck in this boat right now where it's like, that's all we do, right? We focus too much on the dog has to be happy. We don't raise our levels very high. And there's problems because of it.
I see.
So that's my thing I don't like in the dog training. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, so is it, what do you think changed in his mind? Like, what was the biggest reason from him going so far one way to the, like that? Because it was kind of like a,
yeah, we talked about this when I talked about this specific trainer.
Yeah.
In a podcast episode a few weeks ago. It's the fact that, unfortunately, in the dog training world, there's some people that are too far in that extreme, like we talked about, of this is the only way with the compulsion-based, right? We don't know anything about anything else, and they wind up being incredibly too heavy-handed in certain areas.
Yeah.
Right? This is why we have a genre of dog training called balanced training, right? It's because we don't want to be that way. Right?
Yeah.
We also don't want to be the other way, right?
Yeah.
We want to find balance in the middle.
In the middle.
In the middle. We want to find balance in the middle, right? And unfortunately, balance doesn't just mean happy, and motivated in Sport Dog, right?
Yeah.
Balance means sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. Sometimes we have to push you past your comfort levels a little bit. Sometimes we're going to do fun things. Sometimes things are going to be motivating. Sometimes there's going to be consequences for your choices.
Yep.
Sometimes there will be rewards for your choices. It doesn't just mean happy.
Yeah.
Happy.
You should offer a people training course too. I think some people would benefit from that. Yeah, it's not all rainbows.
I don't know. It's just it's
Yeah, I feel that.
you know what I mean? I'm trying to think. Let me think of something I like in the dog training world. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Community and support.
Okay.
Let me say this. Let me zoom this back a little bit. As we've been doing this podcast, it has forced me to step outside of focusing just on Miracle and start focusing on a lot of it is new dog trainers, right? Or existing newer dog trainers, right?
Yeah.
And it's forced me to, not that I didn't do this or want to do this before, but it's forced me to continue developing good relationships with people outside of just what we're doing,
Yeah.
right? And that's a hard thing because initially, I think when you're a brand new dog trainer, you have this conversation like we talked about earlier when we talk about competition and competing businesses and stuff like that, where it's like, oh my God, this person's going to steal my clients or put me out of business or this or that, right? Yep. As opposed to the idea that we're all fighting the same fight and it is bigger than just my company. The goal here and the goal of this podcast, right, is to build a community of really good dog trainers that could help owners with issues. So I don't get 95 emails in a day or 2 days of people that need help, right? That they can find somebody out there that's going to fit their price range, fit their personality, fit their dog's needs, that's going to be able to actually help them through some of these issues. And I take a deep responsibility right now for trying to find the way to create that connection. And find a group of people that are like-minded enough where we're not trying to necessarily compete with each other through a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Right? And allows us to push past the just us side of things. I think that's it. That's what I like right now is that I've been having some really great conversations with some newer trainers out there that are hungry and want to grow and are not too egotistical about things. That's something I've struggled with forever, right? And we're building and developing really great community because of it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I like that.
I'm into it. So that's segment number 2.
I like that.